White House calls videos of President Biden's senior moments, quote, cheap fakes. 42-second video of President Biden in Los Angeles on Saturday night has the entire nation once again debating whether he's physically and mentally fit, more mentally, to run for a second term. In the clip, you appear to see the former President Obama, lead Joe Biden off stage. A wider angle shows the first clip shared widely on social media. Mr. Biden is still standing there stiffly. Times he is applauding, then he turns. You can see him standing as if he's looking at someone, or maybe he's not. He stops gesturing. Come back to him, he's still standing there. Well, you can argue whether this puts it in context or just makes it worse after Obama leads him off. Comes after dozens of moments, to be fair, where the president appears confused or frozen before leaving an event. Charlie Spiering writes in the DailyMail.com, secret Democratic plot to replace Biden revealed. How Clinton, Obama, Pelosi, and Schumer will topple the aging president and when they will do it. Charlie is with us now, cover politics for the Daily Mail. Good to see you, sir.
Thanks for having me.
Welcome to the program. Read your article. We like to say, I think it would be fair to say, important if true. And I guess my question is this a plan that exists, or is this a plan of what would happen if there was a plan?
It's a little bit of both, as you can imagine. I'm sure you've had the conversations with Democrats behind the scenes that grow daily worried about the signs of the president's age and mental decline, most importantly, his age. The reason why they're not talking, the reason why they're not springing up in fear and publicly calling for Biden to exit is because they know that at some point the top leaders of the party will step in when they feel like it's necessary.
Okay, so there's no independent reporting that Clinton, Obama, Pelosi, or Schumer have talked to anyone that you've talked to about their plans.
Right. They are saying that if the worst comes to worst and Joe Biden has to step down.
They being Democratic strategists.
Democratic strategists, if the worst comes to worst and that they need Joe Biden to step down, and the family, there's two things that'll happen. Either the family can step in and do the right thing and convince Joe that it's time to step down, or the top four leaders of the Democratic Party will have to be united if this is going to be successful. It has to be former President Bill Clinton, former President Barack Obama, former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, and current Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer. They have to present a united front to come to the president and his family and say, look, this is why you need to step down, because you're no longer tenable as a candidate. Right now, they're not ready to do it.
No, I mean, clearly they haven't done. I think, you point out, what about Jill Biden, who seems to be in many ways a puppeteer here? But, no secret that Obama and Clinton don't particularly like Joe Biden, or vice versa. There's not a lot of love lost there. But I think it's interesting how Republicans are playing this, right? And this is Howard Kurtz of Fox News slamming Republicans and even other media organizations, including some on the and all on the right, for how they are treating a lot of the videos of President Biden. Take a listen.
The RNC posted a misleading video titled, "What is Biden Doing?" appearing to indicate the president straying off from the assembled leaders, talking to no one. But the Trump campaign followed up by accusing Joe Biden of wandering around like a brain-dead zombie. Nothing like a good way to raise money to push those narratives.
There's enough videos of President Biden acting, to be generous, strangely, and that require explanation. Why do Republicans keep sort of trying to push it even farther and then get their hand caught in the misleading editing cookie jar?
Well, that's absolutely what Republicans do, and Democrats are doing the same thing on the opposite side. If you look at their social media profiles, they're also clipping Trump out of context and putting it out. And you expect that from campaigns, but certainly in this case, it's up for the media to take a look at these clips, offer in context. Look, you add an extra half-inch of context in that video frame, the president's still wandering off where he's not supposed to be, enough to where the Italian prime minister reaches out to guide him back. That's kind of what we saw on Saturday. You saw President Obama reaching out to guide Joe Biden off the stage, either out of friendship or out of general concern. But there were definitely moments.
Look, and we know that, to be fair, President Biden now has walkers with him out to Marine One. So there's more context for him having people around to help guide him. Charlie, keep doing your work. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.